Welcome to the Alan Show. Can you hear the panics of the crowd out there? Welcome to the Alan Show. All right, enough of noise. Fear, right? The sound of fear. Right? The sound of fear. Today, we don't have any fear here, right? It's Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. If you like to know, we're still 831 days since the inception of this sitting. Guys, welcome to the show. This show is all about coming out of this situation or any situation without any scratches by using our intellect, right? Light up your coconut, light up your coconut, light up your country, right? Light up your country. So much need, right? Light up, right? Light up the world. Oh, the old glory here, move. I put it back in. Right? Light up the world, light up one another. It's funny, right? How when something happens somewhere, for some people, they make it your problem right away, right? Read between the lines, right? Everything is an emergency now. Well, got a big fat pencil out there. Right? Light up your coconut again. 99 cents at the hardware store. Only for you. Thank you guys for tuning in to that one person that tunes into my madness. I'm happy. It's been a while, but don't worry. I will always show up. There's a lot to talk about, right? But everybody knows the bad news, right? And there is no such thing as bad news, right? We make him our news. We listen to this stuff. And we get exposed to it, right? 8 billion people trying to do the same thing every day, trying to be happy. Some people, right, hustling one another, right? Instead of working with each other. We have plenty of resources. Look at it, right? Like, really? Water? Really? Right? But, hey, if you want to play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right? Oh, I forgot my little thing here. The games we play to hurt each other, to give pain to each other, whether it's for whatever excuse that we can come up with, right? Instead of, joining each other, right? In peace, in prosperity. We can be prosperous for thousands of years. Right? We have been, in a way, with all these struggles, we have been. Right? I got this, somebody gave it to me as a gift. And I said, I'm going to unwrap it. I don't smoke, but I'm going to unwrap it when all this. But we jump from this to that, read between the lines. So that is going to stay like that. Somebody in 1,000 years is going to find this cigar and is going to archaeologically look into it and try to puff it and go, oh, what happened to those people? You hear that, right? You hear that. You hear that, the panic noise, right? People talk about the markets. People talk about all kinds of stuff, right? As I always say, right? This time, pen and paper, right? It's that simple. Big fat pencil or pen we need today to write down what's going on in our mind. Then you can scratch it, you can scrape it off, you can shred it, but it gets out of your mind, right? All those ideas, right? Let's investigate. They say something, let's investigate. It's free. Especially with the resources we have today, we just have to be careful, right? We gotta measure everything with the ruler that is given, right? The world, right? all these people making noise for Christ's sake in all different kind of languages, right? It's the same problems, right? Eat, sleep, right? No matter what color you are, what language you speak, how tall, how short, you have the same three problems every day. And for some, you have to get some help. Otherwise, hasta la vista. Return to sender. Let's talk about something important. Let's talk about equilibrium, right? The ability to balance, right? We need that for everything in life. To walk, right? We need equilibrium. You know, imagine, right? If you have one hand smaller than the other, it affects, right? Everything affects a perfect balance if it's not in tune, if you want to maintain a line of stability. Buildings are built that way, you know. Cars, right? You know, cars in the old days, they used to make them too heavyweight in the front, right? Let me get my little prop here. You know, sometimes they put too much weight in the front, so the car is unstable in the back. So you go, that's when cars used to. Then some people say, oh, why not put the engine in the middle? And then other problems were created. Then they said, oh, why don't we put the engine in the back? Oh, well, until they get it somewhere right? We still have a lot of development to go through, but for the most part, cars are safe these days, unless you're a terrible driver. But, you know, here it is, right? Like, we are continuing our journey in this planet, right? Trying to correct things every day, whether it's economy, whether it's inventions, right? You know, something amazing happened to me today. For the first time, I dropped a light bulb on the floor and it didn't break. Because this thing is amazingly, it's like indestructible. But it's made of, I don't know, some kind of plastic or whatever. It's very heavy too. So it's great invention, right? Now you don't lose a light bulb every time your hands get some butter in it, right? Like, hey, I still got it. And it still works, by the way. You know, inventions, communications, right? Hey, hi audience, how you doing out there? That one guy. Are you ready? Are you ready? Calm down, guys. Calm down. This is a long journey. Imagine if you're gonna live 100 years, how many of these situations and cycles you're gonna go through. So, take a deep breath, get on your talents, play some music, play some guitar, write some songs, and chill out, get a big cup of coffee. This journey is long, all right? So take it easy. All right, thank you, Mr. Dom. Mr. Dom. He's been through so much with me in the last couple of years. But we've been doing this, trying to bring a little bit of enlightenment, right, to the real matters of life, right? There he is. Mr. Dummy, get over there. We, in life, can see things in different ways. You heard of life, forgive me, sometimes it's hard. And I don't have AC in this area because it doesn't get all the way here. So this is a corner of my place that is hot. So forgive me my speeches. But we live life in many ways, right? Some people live for their work. Some people live for their creativity, their invention. So you hear musicians, right, like into their 70s now, right? They live a long life playing music, right? Some people live, I don't know, for their bad habits. People drink every day until, I don't know, but they live a long life, right? Some people live for their bosses. Like, you know, somebody works in a house and he's worked, I don't know, 40 years in the house, and you know, the help, right? Like, so people have different ideas how they're going to invest their life and their time in this earth. And it's no different to everybody. the reward, right? Excuse me. The reward, right? It's different for everybody. For some people, it's peace and quiet. For others, it's a lot of noise, fame, right? People chasing you every time you go to a coffee shop. And for others, it's counting money, right? Like, for others, it's spending that person's that counts the money. Uh, various reasons why we live, right? Like, take a deep breath every morning and say, "Well, we get on this journey, right? We learn a few things, we educate, right? Learn something new language, new something, right? So there's reasons why we live every day. We wake up. Today is the first day of the rest of my. Don't be that guy. So there's a reason why we live, right? Some people stay with their parents forever, right? It's a great thing. Yeah, family, right? People live for the family. Some parents live for their children. So that's the other way around. You just want to help them until the end, and then you become grandparent, and right, it's an amazing journey, right? It's an evolution thing, right? Give and take, right? So let's break it down, an equilibrium, right? Whatever we put in, and then we go to Galatians 6:7. Whatever you reap, you will sow. It's not even, that is just an essential and basic, a fundamental, equation of anything in existence, right? If a river, right, you get a trench, right? And then you're ready for the water. So the water comes, it completes it. So whatever we put in, right, we're gonna get right here. Some people in abundance that could cause, right? So you have to manage that. Sometimes you ask for something, you get so much, right, that it becomes a problem. Not necessarily good things can be always, exactly what you need, right? Could be more than what you need. Then there are situations you have to make adjustments, right? Let's say, in a way, right, a country, right, it has a hunger problem, right? This happened before, by the way. So the entire world starts sending food to this place because it panics, right? Everybody panics, right? Oh, we don't want people to hurt, right? So this country gets all this food. You've seen it in some places. Food gets thrown away rotten because it's so much, right? So sometimes good things also can create, right? So it's an equilibrium. It's a balance of life, of things, of actions, right? So when we look at this, right, and we look at the present, right, we had a bad situation, right? So we put in the health here, and then we went like, oh, like everything was about the one thing, and everything else got like maybe neglected, right? So then we said, okay, we got this somehow managed, but we have the other things that are like out of whack because we put too much stuff on one side. Then now again, we panic, right? Trying to, and that's very dangerous. You have to be very careful. Every situation, right, it has a time capsule. The time that it was created, the time that it needs to be resolved, and also that the third capsule is what the consequences and how much time will that take to be completely repaired, like the water and the trench, right? How much to create a river, right? So we are out of equilibrium, right? Everything is out of whack because we put too much stuff, because we got too, right? So now you know why you must maintain, compose, must create an atmosphere of trust, we lost some of that, right? In processes. So let's say an individual decides wants to live 100 years. He wants to be one of those people, get a little trouble. 100 years. There's a book called 100 Years of Solitude. Imagine to have to be in one place 100 years, no contact of anything, just you. The peace, the quiet, the Zen. Right? Gandhi said, there is no path to peace. Peace is the path. So you can't be belligerent and go to peace. No. You have to have peace so that you don't have to do the opposite. Right? What do people do? The first thing is they want to find the end of that finger so that they don't have to, right, investigate. By the way, I don't mean to talk to you like this, but it's hard. Stage 1, right? Life, let's divide it into 3 stages. As a person, any individual in this earth has to go through a few things. In the old days, used to be much shorter, right? People live less. Now they live longer. So we're doing something right. So there's no reason to always get too panic about everything because we're not looking at the entire spectrum of our existence, of our species, right? So if we give life expectancy of about 78 years old for males and about 80 for females, right? We could break that down into 4 stages. But we're going to break it into 100 years because we're all very positive and optimistic, right? No matter what happens, we want to make that big 100, okay? Even if pandemic, wars, whatever, you are in charge of your time. And don't forget that. If you surrender it to whatever, right? But remember, you have lived some days already. And you manage, right? So you just keep going out there, keep being an investigator, right? Keep being, right? Lighting up your coconut. Keep reading, right? Keep reading, keep writing. Yeah? Okay, what they said? Okay, let me put it right here. Yeah? Let me see if you had that. The numbers don't lie. Right? Let me call up there. So what do you think? Don't do it. Use your light bulb. All right. So, right? We split it into 4 stages. 0 to 25 is stage number 1. What do we create? Well, by the time I was 25, I was already that. Excuse me. My show is not edited, so anything can happen here. If there's an earthquake, whatever. Oh, big thunders today. We have big storms today. Stage 1, 0 to 25. Yeah, we learn, right? We learn and we practice what we learn. We start getting our little feet wet into what the world is, the modern world, right? We go to school, high school, early college, finish college. But for a guy like me, it was being a parent. I became a parent. By 25, I was already a parent. I was married. So, right? But imagine for some guys that they just been in school for almost 2 decades, pretty much, right? By the time they got 5, right? They went to the pre-K, right? And then 20 years of that time, they have been only in institutions being educated about this whole wonderful world. Life experience, has become a secondary. In my case, life experience was always going out there with my education, right? Still learning today, by the way, and I love it. But I choose what I learn, right? So we create an equilibrium of 2 lives, our personal life and our business life, right? Which is where a lot of people have sometimes conflicts, right? To manage both life at the same time. Some are too dedicated to this, and then they always say, "Oh, I can handle that relationship. I can have this. I can," right? And some people, "Oh, I'm too much into my family. I'm not very good at business. I just like to hang with my family and do barbecues and put in 8 hours, and that's enough for me." Well, yeah, this is your trend, right? So for 25 years, you basically pretty much, let's put it down, you're just a student of life. Whether it's academically, whether it's spiritually, going to church, learning all those things, or whether it's in the labor force, you barely start, and maybe you internship, or maybe you get a part-time job, and so you're getting your feet wet, right? And this is the people out there that are like very like politically energized. So I mean, look, right? So you can see where we need to pay attention to, right? So after 25, right? Chapter 1, stage 1, check, completed. I have no kids, but I have a career going. I have this, I have that. I don't have that. So that wants, needs, and right, that desire. That's where the salesmen come in on those, because they've been prepping to buy houses, to buy this, to buy that, because everybody wants a good life, right? There's no sin in that, right? But there are different approach to that, right? There are some are serious, right? The biggest pain in my life and tragedy is when I see our life being wasted within this stage, because nobody approached it, nobody reached out, they didn't know how to ask for help or whatever. But a lot of lives are wasted in this stage. It's a painful, it's a tragedy for all of us, right? That could have been the next great mind, but he didn't get to the right. So let's go to stage 2. Stage 2 is a fun one. That's where you create your family, right? Although the guys wait a long time sometimes. That's why right now a lot of people are in this stage. In the old days, people in the first stage, they had kids and stuff. Now a lot of people are choosing the second stage to start families, buying houses, buying the best cars, electrical cars, flying cars, broken down cars, whatever. This is where you have all the playing time, because you have strength. Very few people get like real serious illnesses. If you take care of yourself, you exercise, you look great, you are there dating, you are there, in the market, as they say. That's where the energy of the market comes from, on those expenses, equilibrium, right? We got that energized, right? Sector of the population, from the elderly to the baby, that is energized to continue the economy and believe all the stories that they've been sold with, right? That they gotta have this sometimes, that they must have this, and some people take it to the heart. Some people say, "Hey, wait a minute. Before I do that, let me do the math." Right? So I'm in this stage. I finished that stage, so I'm in my third stage. This is where a lot of things get weird, because we are biodegradable, right? We are human beings. We're not like Mr. Dummy. He breaks an arm, gets a new arm, just screw it, right? But he doesn't get to look like me. So in this stage, right, there's a lot of things happen. First of all, some people call midlife crisis, right? Midlife crisis. Some people call it maturity, right? You're an adult, like a real, complete adult, right? So imagine if you're doing childish things and stupid things at that age. Doesn't really look good on your curriculum going to the next stage. So here's what it is whatever you're doing, it kind of keeps you going into the next stage, unless something really bad happen and you're in the middle of it. And that's what this is all about. We can have a perfect life, live it, but there are other things, right, that also are part of life that we have no control over. But some of the things we have control over help us improve our chances to a nice existence. Something I always call, since I was very young, the optimum living, maximizing your existence, right? Optimum living, right? Reading, learning, so that we don't make mistakes that diminish that. Doesn't matter. This is not an economical thing, although everything runs on money, right? In terms of, trading. But I'm talking about the other part too, the spiritual, the personal part. The relationships of people. That's a great part of your health. If you don't get along with people, if you don't have an affinity towards people, you're going to have a hard time in life. And these stages are going to be miserable in some cases. But if you do work on those things and learn how those things work, then you can improve and you can actually look forward to the next stage because it brings out different things, right? So when you're in stage 3, so this is for my old silverbacks out there, going into the 60s or 60s going to 70s. So this right here, right? It's a 75 year, right? From 51 to 75, right? So when we see that we start completing things, we complete, right? It really doesn't matter the year. I just put whatever, right? But when we reach this stage of 75, it's the most crucial one because this is where life expectancy start beating us they come, excuse me, sir, are you still there? People come and check on you and stuff. But if you take care of our health, if you follow up with your doctors and follow, all the things that you need to do, improving your diet and all those things, then we can, somehow, get to that stage unharmed, on scratch. So remember, education, learning, following the right orders, right? We can follow the legacy of order, or we can follow this heritage of chaos, right? Life is chaos, right? Traffic, everything. So why focus on that, right? If you know that traffic is going to be hell, right? Why you're not going to take extra time to give yourself order? That way, it doesn't matter how people are driving out there. You're still going to get there on time, unless, like I said, factors from outside your control can change that. But you will, control your environment, your situation up to a certain point, and that optimize, right, and maximize your existence. Anybody can survive, right? We've seen people in the wild survive. This is about lifestyle, right? This is about living well. It doesn't matter how many wars we had in this planet. There are always people emerging better and living well. They said the world was going to end a few years ago, right? And it might end, but why focus on that? Because even if you're the last person on this earth, right? You don't have to live in panic, right? So whether aliens come or war come, in the meantime, take care of yourself, keep an equilibrium, and remember, if you want to get panic, go ahead. You're free to do so, but you don't have to. Take care of yourself. Have a fantastic day. May God bless you, and we'll see you in the next Alan Show. Remember, be out there, be careful with the changes. Those things that you can't control, remember that. Keep an eye on that. Those are real. And we want you to go through all the stages without any scratches. Until the next time, thank you for tuning in. This is The Alan Show.